So you've got some more stories about Jeroboam and Rehoboam for me. Not many, sir, no. Oh. Well, last time you did say they weren't exactly the leaders God had in mind to lead his chosen people. No, sir. Big disappointments is what they are. Oh dear. Total losers. Okay. Yeah, they're just the worst. Like, ever. You might want to stop hitting that point quite so hard. And why is that? Because one of those guys was God's personal choice to be the leader of the Israelites, and the other one is a son of a guy God personally chose to be a leader of the Israelites. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. If I keep pointing out what disastrous choices God keeps making in selecting Israel's leaders, people might begin to suspect that God suffers from, dare I say it, faulty judgment. Well, that's preposterous, obviously. Well, our next story perfectly illustrates how God's long-suffering patience and abundant mercy help him deal with the consequences of his disastrous choices. Oh, do tell. I will. So, you know how Jeroboam has been making detestable golden idols and appointing non-Levites as priests? Oh yes, those moves seem calculated to draw a thunderbolt from God. And yet they don't. Instead, God summons a prophet from Judah to let Jeroboam know that his antics are pissing him off. Wouldn't a thunderbolt be faster? Yeah, but it's more fun doing it this roundabout Rube Goldberg-esque way. Well, okay then. So this prophet, known as the man of God from Judah, shows up while Jeroboam is about to make an offering at one of his not-so-kosher altars. Gotcha. And this prophet foretells some guy named Josiah coming down the pike in the not-too-distant future. And what's this Josiah guy's deal? Well, you know how the Israelites are forever turning their back on Yahweh to worship detestable foreign gods? Christ, yes, it is their core defining trait. I know, right? So the plan is for this prophesied Josiah to set the Israelites back on the straight and narrow after they've strayed yet again later on. When's that happening? About halfway through 2 Kings. Oy. What? All this time I've been well aware we're working on 1 Kings. Yes, but I really hadn't allowed myself to believe there must necessarily be a 2 Kings. Pain is weakness leaving the body. Thanks for the pep talk. Anyway, besides this bit about Josiah, the man of God from Judah also lets Jeroboam know that his idolatry has Yahweh plenty pissed. So Jeroboam, being God's hand-picked leader for Israel, corrects the error of his ways. Oh, for... what do you think? I was just trying to be polite. Yeah, no. God's hand-picked leader is, of course, going to, yet again, flout God's decrees, and Jeroboam orders the prophet to be seized. Uh-oh. Yeah, in fact, Jeroboam reaches out to grab the prophet himself, and his hand shrivels up. Oh, gnarly. It gets Jeroboam's attention in a big way. So is God going to use this withering hand spell in the future? It sounds extremely effective. It will never be used again. Wow. So Jeroboam is all, hey, that was cool, but can I have my hand back now? And the prophet's like, yeah, all right. And then Jeroboam's hand goes back to normal. Aw, that's nice. It sure is. Jeroboam is so impressed that he asks the prophet to have dinner with him. That's perfect. The prophet can use the dinner as an opportunity to reason with Jeroboam, encourage him to turn back to Yahweh. Yahweh forbids the man of God from Judah from having dinner with Jeroboam. Oh, okay, never mind then. Yep, the prophet just disses Jeroboam and pieces out. So what happens next? Some old local prophet hears about these events and he tracks down the man of God from Judah. Who's this old local prophet? Why does he want to track down the first one? Unclear. Huh. So when he finds the man of God from Judah, he says, hey, come and have dinner at my house. But the man of God from Judah says, nope, can't, God won't let me. Oh, pay. But the old local prophet lies to the man of God from Judah. And he says, hey, I'm a prophet too. And God told me it's okay if you have dinner with me. Isn't it going to be hard for some local nobody to mislead a messenger who was literally sent by God himself? Actually, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yep, God just stays out of it and allows his earthly ambassador to be led astray by the lying prophet. Oh, wow. So after the old local prophet wines and dines the man of God from Judah, the word of the Lord comes to him. By him, you mean the old local prophet? Yes. So God is on record as talking to both of these guys. He is? Yes. So help me out here. Why couldn't God have employed just one of these prophets to get his point across? I have no earthly idea. I mean, Clearly, both of these men are mouthpieces for Yahweh. Clearly. So it feels like Yahweh is kinda smashing his toys together in his sandbox with no rhyme or reason to it. Look, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about God working at cross purposes with himself here. Sure, let me get off that thing. Great. So, after the man of God from Judah finishes his meal, the old local prophet basically says, "Gotcha." Uh-oh. Yep, the old local prophet relays God's message to the man of God from Judah, telling him that he has disobeyed God's commandment to not eat or drink with these people. So how does God react to one of his puppets falling for the entrapment that his other puppets set up? God, being so loving and abundant in mercy and all, has his puppet from Judah sorta mauled to death by a lion. Oh my God. Yes, it was. What a horrific way to die. One of the very worst. He was just riding home on his donkey, then whammo. So much pain. Oh, excruciating to be sure. Oh, wait a sec. Christ, that poor man. Sucks for him, am I right? But what are you gonna do? So anyway, I don't know if I can really get my head around the terror he must have suffered. Sometimes it's best not to dwell. Probably not. But maybe I should. Oh, please, please don't. Let me imagine the scene. Oh, God damn it. The man of God from Judah is on his way home after a nice dinner when he gets attacked by a lion. This terrifying mass of claws and teeth and death seizes this defenseless human, shredding his flesh, crushing his bones in its gaping maws. The man surely shrieks in agony and horror. Imagine the fetid breath of this beast, if you will, as it sinks its fangs into your throat, its razor-sharp claws pulling you in closer as your blood, very life essence, gushes from dozens of scores of lacerations. And with his belly recently filled with food, no doubt the man of God from Judah loses all control of his bodily functions, probably vomiting and defecating simultaneously as his life ebbs away. Oh, please stop. And it's possible, with them being the way they are and all, the lion may even start to feed before the man is completely unconscious. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Typically, they start with the abdomen, ripping out the comparatively soft yet extremely nutritious liver. Stop! What is the point of this? I thought it might be helpful if we actually examined what we're talking about in detail. It's not supposed to be examined. The man of God from Judah dies because he disobeyed God. That's the moral of the story. What? That's it? Yes! He only disobeyed because he was tricked into it. You get that, right? Look, it's just the script. So what does the other prophet do when he finds out about the man of God's fate? He collects the body and mourns his fellow prophet, saying, "Alas, my brother." Isn't he the one who tricked the man of God into making this fatal error in judgment in the first place? Hey, shut up. So the old local prophet feels very bad about what happened to his fellow prophet, and he gives instructions that he'd like to be buried beside him when the time comes. What an odd reaction. Yeah, maybe he feels bad about his role in the man of God's demise. Does he face any repercussions for his duplicity? None whatsoever. His lie cost a man his life, and God has nothing to add. Radio silence. God is so... What's a radio? I don't know. What does Jeroboam make of all this? Not much, apparently. He continues business as usual, worshiping idols and appointing non-Levite priests. Really? Yep. So the man of God from Judah makes the most understandable mistake imaginable after being misled, without the slightest heads up from God, and is killed in the most horrific way almost immediately for his trivial infraction. Meanwhile, Jeroboam is spitting in God's eye almost from the get-go, following detestable foreign gods in what is a true capital offense. He is. And how long does Jeroboam continue in his blasphemous idolatry? 22 years. What the f***? Yes, for 22 years, Jeroboam craps on God with impunity. He simply continues with his evil ways until he dies peacefully, apparently. But God had one of his own minions assassinated by wild animal for virtually no reason at all. Yes. Yet he allows his number one commandment to be bitch-slapped for decades by the idolatrous Jeroboam. That is correct. Oh, enforcing holy law in the most absurdly inconsistent way conceivable is tight. Yeah. So Jeroboam doesn't suffer any punishment at all during his reign? Tell you what, him getting off scot-free is obviously bugging you. How could you tell? I'll add a little something that will not only punish Jeroboam, but will also show off God's holy wisdom and loving discipline.